Yo, what is up? Yo, what is up? It's your boy BDTAthletics. Gonna be doing a little draft hall grades myself. We did one on Six Pack Sports Talk as a crew, but I figured I had some time off, had a day off. Wanted to share my own thoughts. I know I shared a bunch of my own thoughts. I kind of dominated the podcast, but on accident. But gonna give grades a little more in depth, as you could see. We're gonna be going minuses and pluses now. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Arizona Cardinals are gonna start us off. Jeremiah Love, the player, is an A plus, top five prospect, top three prospect, really. The pick and the fit, it's a D or a D plus. I mean, he's obviously going to play well. I don't mean that way, like, oh, he's not going to play well. I mean, they just signed Tyler Algier. They have Trey Benson. They just re-signed James Conner. They have the most money guaranteed to the running back room by a country mile in the league, and they're not even close to competing. So the process there is an F. I don't know what we're doing there. But then we bounce back to the second round. Chase Basantis, A plus. I mean, what a pick. I mean, he could have gone where Keelan Rutledge went to the Texans. I think he's a great guard. I think he'll start pretty early, and I think he'll be a very good player for 8 to 10 years. So that's a great pick. Then we go to the third round. Carson Beck. I've kind of softened on this a little bit. Initially, I was straight up F. I don't think Carson Beck's very good. I think, but I will say this: if they're going to have the Brissett problems where they're not sure if they're going to pay him or play him, or he's going to show up or whatever, they are going to need someone who's going to need to play. And Beck's probably top three most ready to play, including like Nussmeyer. Like he could play right now. I don't think he'd be great, but he'll be serviceable in a run first offense where he doesn't have to make a bunch of throws. I think, but I still don't like the pick. There's no upside there, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to get much better. In fact, he's kind of only gotten worse because of the elbow. So I don't know. Not a fan of the pick, but I understand where they're coming from. And then the rest of their picks, Caleb Proctor, I think's got something. I wasn't a fan of the Texas Tech receivers, so Sherrar might be a special teamer. I mean, in my opinion, not a great draft at all, but Basantis is really going to save it from being a D. I think this is a C minus in my opinion. Just not a great draft for where they really could have. They could have got Arvell Reese. Third round, there were still plenty of players. I'm not gonna act like I have it off the top of my head, but there were options there. So I don't love that. I don't love what they did. Not at all. Atlanta Falcons next. Team with not as much capital. They didn't have a first rounder because of the James Pierce Jr. trade. I think Avion Terrell's a great player. To get him at 48, I had him probably like top 35, top 40. I think he's going to be a good slot corner at minimum. So he's got good instincts, good nose for the football. I like that. That's a great pick. And then Zachariah Branch. I'll be honest, personally, I'm not super high on him because he struggles running, well, I shouldn't say he struggles running routes. We haven't really seen him run many routes. So maybe he can route. And Georgia just didn't. I mean, I think it was over 50% of his targets were behind the line of scrimmage. So he's obviously explosive with the football. So I don't think the Falcons can manufacture some touches for him. I think he can be productive, but I don't love the pick. There's Skylar Bell available. You still like Chris Brazzell. I mean, there are options where they could have went separate. So I don't love the pick, but I'm not going to hate it. I think they'll make it work, to be honest. Then I don't really know too much about the next two guys, not going to lie. And then Harold Perkins Jr., I don't know if he's going to be a steal at 215, but I think he's going to be a quality contributor, whether it's just special teams or he can sub in, maybe edge rush a bit, play off ball. I like Harold Perkins, and this is a good range for him. So Falcons, I'd go probably either a B or a B minus. We're going to start at B, and that might drop. Next up, Baltimore Ravens. Vega Ioane, possibly the safest pick in this draft. Hold on, sorry. Sorry about that. Vega Ioane is possibly the safest pick in this draft. I think this is an A-plus home run slam. I mean, Ravens fans are going to see what it's like to not have Daniel Faalele at guard. They're going to have pretty much the opposite, the inverse, a great player who's going to start for about a decade. However long he wants to play, he'll start. Zion Young, I think it's a steal at 45. I probably had him at about like a I think he could have gone to 25 for the Bears. Like if Thieneman wasn't there, I would have loved that for them. So I think this is a great pick for them. Another home run. Then Jacoby Lane, be honest, not a big fan. Don't know how well he'll be able to even separate. He wasn't even great at jump balls in college, so you know he's obviously got room to grow. He's a true junior, so we'll have to see. I think if they swapped the Surratt and Lane picks, I would have liked it more. I still wouldn't have loved the Lane pick, but I would have liked it more because Surratt, I think, is worth that 80th pick. I think he's a great route runner, can run that back shoulder fade, big body receiver. I think it's a good fit. I think he'll play early for him, honestly. Then the rest of their class, like I like Cuevas. I think Rayshon Benny's a good run defender. Chandler Rivers is just undersized, but he's a good player. I think this is a quality class. I'd go probably, truthfully, I'd probably go A minus. I think this is a good class. Got good value, good fits. I like this a lot. Let's go ahead and honestly, let's zoom out so we can still fit as much as we can. Yeah. Let's see if we can zoom out one more. That'll work because there's only going to be one team in S. Next up, Buffalo Bills. I think this was a bit shoddy for me. I love the TJ Parker fit at 35, but I don't understand trading down from Omar Cooper. I had Omar Cooper as like a top 20 prospect for me. Could have been like I think number 15 off the top of my head. And you passed on him for some reason. I don't understand, but obviously I like TJ Parker. I think it's going to be a good fit for him. Davis and Igbenoson's got good traits and mirrors decently well, but he doesn't trust his feet. He gets handsy. He lowered his penalties this year, but he still has a high penalty count over his starter years. So, I mean, if you can get that in check, I think he's actually could be a decent starter for him. But you got to get that in check. You got to get him to trust his feet. Jude Bowery, I think he's a solid tackle. Skylar Bell, I love this pick. I had him as I believe, a top 60 prospect. He falls to 125. Crisp route runner, great hands, elusive after the catch. Not awesome after the catch, but does well enough. I think this is an excellent pick. Jalen Kilgore at 167, great value. Could have been a top 100 pick for me, and he's going to be a versatile piece for him. Armaj Reed Adams at 241. I thought he could have been like a early day 3 guy. I think he can be a very good backup guard. He's got great size, and he's a bulldozer in the run game. So I like this draft. I don't love it, so it won't be an A, but I think I'd put it at a solid B. I think this is a good draft. Oh, oops, my bad. Messed that one up. All right. Now, on to my Carolina Panthers. Sorry about that. Jesus. My Carolina Panthers. I did not initially love the Monroe Freeling pick. I don't hate the prospect. I just saw Makai Lemon, eyes lit up. I'm like, what a fit in this offense. You go get Makai Lemon, Dylan Thieneman still available. Great fit there. Omar Cooper Jr., I would have loved it too. But if, after some time to think about it, and truthfully, just, probably not going to win the Super Bowl this year. So I don't mind like making good strides towards keeping the offensive line ahead of schedule. I do think the Monroe Freeling pick is going to be good because he's not going to have to play this year. You give him a year of learning the system, learning NFL edge rushing, getting used to it in the practice on the practice field, and he'll probably have to play at least a game or two. I'm not assuming our O-line is going to be fully healthy, so I'm assuming he'll sub in and get some snaps, but it won't be all on him, and he'll have a year to grow, and I think he's got arguably the highest ceiling of any tackle in this class. So he could be a top 10 tackle in the league, in my opinion, but I think this is a great fit for him because he's not going to have to play right away. So I think he could truly blossom here, but I still would have liked the other guys I named. So for me, it's like a B, but because I think those guys are going to be studs. So off rip, but I don't hate the pick. I think I'm going to end up liking it when we don't have to worry about left tackle for a while. Lee Hunter, the fridge. Pairing him, Derek Brown, Bobby Brown the third in a 3-4 defense. Have fun running the football against that with Devin Lloyd with all that room to roam. You got Trevin Wallace back there too. I mean, I don't, he's not the best, but good at finding the football and running towards it. So I think this is a great stride towards the run defense. I love it. Um, third rounder, Chris Brazzell. Personally, I would have went Skylar Bell, but I think the fit here is going to be great because of the vertical threat he's going to provide. His size, catches the football with his hands. He's an underrated route runner. You see him, I believe it was at Tulane before he came to Tennessee. He was actually running routes, so you could see he's got some craft to him. I love the pick. I think I think he could start. I mean, I don't know if he will right away because Leggette's still got some sort of a cachet in this offense, but I think he'll play a role right away. Uh, then we got Will Lee the third, the blanket up next. Initially was sold to me as like a man-to-man only corner, but I kind of watched some tape on him. I think he's underrated in zone. I think he can play quite well in zone off rip, and that's what we do most. We're a zone first team, which I don't love, but it is what it is. If it fits our personnel, that's what we do. So I'm in on it. I think this is a great pickup. I'm surprised he was available at 129. He was close to a top 100 prospect for me. Sam Hack at 144, absolute steal for me. He was arguably my top center. I think he was like the fourth or fifth center off the board, and we didn't have to. I mean, I think we might have traded up a little bit, or maybe we traded back. I'm blanking on it right now, but what a pick! I mean, just so I couldn't believe it when I saw Sam Hecht. I'm like, how is he still on the board? Really? And we're gonna need a center very soon. So I love this fit. It's just a lovely fit. Zaki Wheatley at 151. I mean, I'll say it again. Same exact thing. I could not believe he was still on the board, and he could start for us right away. I'm praying he starts over Nick Scott. I saw some people saying that he's overhated. I don't, I don't hate the guy. Obviously, I got nothing against him. I don't think it's wrong to want my football team to have a good quality starter instead of average at best. I don't think that's wrong of me. So, like I said, I don't hate the guy. I got nothing against him. He seems like a nice dude. I've seen clips of him. He seems like a good family man. Like I got good person. I don't want him to get, I don't want him to lose his job. I'm just looking at it from a football team perspective. We are not better when he's in the game. So it's really that simple. So the Zaki Wheatley pick for me is lovely. I think he should start early, but let's be real, he probably won't. For me, as long as Nick Scott plays like he did mid-season to late season, like before he sold out, um, it's okay. But I prefer Zaki Wheatley starting. Anyways, that was a random mine. We went too long on my team here. I think it's a B plus draft for me, mostly because of the day 3 steals. Could be in that A range, honestly, but I just I don't know. Freeling's for me when we could have taken a stud. I don't know. Chicago Bears. What a steal at Dylan Thieneman at 25. I mean, good lord, he's him and Kobe Bryant in the back defensive backfield is just going to be just a joy to watch, and the schemes they could get together is going to be astounding. Logan Jones at 57 for me is high, very high, but he's probably the most ready to start right now, arguably. And I guess if they don't love Garrett Bradbury, I mean, he's kind of similar to him. So I don't love the pick there, truthfully, but I'm not going to act like I'm some offensive line connoisseur. So if they saw something I didn't and they think he's going to be a beast and he ends up being a beast, I'll walk it back right away. 69, Sam Roush. Initially, I didn't like it at all because I'm like, what the heck? You got tight ends already. But Cole Kmet, I believe, is a free agent after this year. So you're just essentially prepping Roush to be that Y where Colston Loveland could be more of that move tight end where he's the one motioning, he's the one off the line of scrimmage, he's the one in the slot. Roush could be that Y who could block real well. I actually like the pick, truthfully, because I'm high on Sam Roush. Xavier Thomas at 89. As an LSU fan, I like the kid. He's underrated route runner for what people are saying, and he obviously can return kicks and punts. I think he's got very good speed. So I think he's a good player, but at 89, that's like half of where I would have had him. I would have had him in that back half of the 5th or like 6th rounder. So it's a reach. It's a capital R reach, in my opinion, unfortunately. But then they're day 3. Malik Muhammad, great value at 124. I think he could play pretty early on. I mean, probably not year 1 too much, but like year 2, year 3, I think he could be a player. He's true junior, so he's got some time. Keyshawn Elliott, I think he's a solid linebacker. I think he's got good traits. He might be able to turn into a starter here if you show him the way a little bit. I think he maybe just needs to get a little better at diagnosing routes and trusting his eyes. But I like the pick. And then Jordan Vandenberg. I initially didn't know anything about him, but I looked into him a bit. I think he's a gap shooting pass rusher who really can sub in on some certain packages if they need it. But he can develop, I think, into something a little more as well. So I'm interested. I like the Bears draft. I think the Logan Jones and the Xavier Thomas picks are just, you take them out. This is an A draft. Put them in though. It's a straight B for me, unfortunately. I think it's a good draft though. Obviously, could have been way worse. And the Thieneman pick is just Bengals, no first rounder. Cassius Howell, love the fit here. I'm surprised they went edge considering they just invested in it last year, but I'm not against it at all. Sicario Davis, a little like for me, I was high on him and still a little high for me. I would have had him back half of the third. I think he's got the size and athleticism to compete, but his hips, he does not turn well at all. So he's really only going to be effective early against vertical threats. I don't know if that's really something you can teach. If you can teach that, then they got to get someone on it ASAP. But if that's like a physical thing, I don't know if you just want to run off zone with them. I mean, it's a real problem. But he's got the size and the athleticism to compete off rip. Connor Lew at 128 before the ACL. I mean, he was the top center in the draft, in my opinion, for sure. But coming off that, you'll probably want to give him about a year. He's still young as well, true junior. I think that's a great pick. Colby Young, I'll be honest, don't really know much about him. I think there were some other players there, like Kevin Coleman Jr. was in the 5th round, so I would have much rather that pick. Some other players too, like Cyrus Allen, the Chiefs got in the 6th, I believe. So don't love that pick. Brian Parker the second in the 6th, love that. Jack Endry's in the 7th. Some good value here. So I'd probably go a straight. I'd go B minus because I did like Zion Young more than I like Cassius Howell. So that's the only thing dragging him down here. Browns. Ooh. I'll spoil it. This is my S. This is my S class. The process of we're willing to take Fano at 6, but we know he's not going at 7, 8, or 6 if we trade out to the Chiefs. We know that those 3 teams are not taking him. So let's go ahead and trade back. We're still going to get our guy in Fano, who's going to be a starter and I think could be a stud. He's got a pretty high ceiling and he's already got a pretty high floor. So I think this is a great pick. Casey Concepcion, I think is a great player. So for me, it gets a B. The only reason it's not higher, I just think the archetype wasn't a great fit considering they have guys like him. I don't know if they're the same quality, but they, the same archetype. So for me, initially, it wasn't as high of a grade, but then seeing them get Denzel Boston at 39, that's the archetype they needed. So that itself ups the grade for both of them. And value on that, I had Denzel Boston as a fringe top 25 guy. To get him at 39, excellent value. And I think he's going to be a lot better of a player than some people are willing to give credit for. EMW at 58. Oh, man. The value. I had him as a fringe top 25 player as well. I think his instincts, he's a great athlete. He's got great size. Great value again. That's an A+ pick again. Austin Barber. I'm iffy on him. I don't know if he can start right away, but certainly you can, he can grow on me a bit. Parker Brailsford is a little light, but you can work on that because I think he's got good technique. So you get him a little bit stronger. I like that a lot, actually. Justin Jefferson, I think, came onto my radar late, but he's got good fit, good responsibility, knowing like what I mean is like he knows where to go on plays. Even if maybe it's not his responsibility, he'll know where to pick up. And then the 2 tight ends, Joe Royer and Carson Ryan. I like it because they're two opposite guys. I think they're both good players as well, so I don't hate it. Joror can't really block for crap though, so we'll have to see. And then Taylor Green, I think, is a chess piece. Probably won't play quarterback for you. I think maybe tight end or receiver. I mean, maybe a Taysom Hill role for me, I think is great. But I mean, I'm not going to hate on the kid. I haven't watched him a lot, to be honest. So if there's, I've only heard that there's nothing there passing. So I'd like to, I'm not going to count him out. We'll see. I just think the Taysom Hill role for him, the athlete he is excellent. So for me, I think this is an S tier class. I don't think it gets better than this. And I mean, I don't even know what else to say, man. I mean, I could not believe it that the Browns were getting the players they were. Dallas Cowboys. I think this is going to be one of my better classes for sure. Caleb Downs was a top 3 prospect for me. His ability to communicate at the line of scrimmage, versatility, knowledge of the football game, is football IQ is going to be one of the highest in the league off rip. That's an A+ pick. Even to trade up one spot, I don't mind it at all. Malachi Lawrence at 23. I don't hate it. Gonna play a DPR role early. He's got the size to learn to defend against the run better, but we'll have to see. That's more of an effort thing. You got to understand where you got to be to how to hold the edge. So we'll see if he can learn that. But I don't mind the pick because I think he's a good pass rusher off rip. I think he's got good moveset, good pass rushing plan. Jayshon Barham, they got him as an edge. Think he'll play off ball linebacker for him. He's got that in his tool bag. He did it at I believe it was Maryland that he went to before Michigan. He played off ball there. So I think this is a great fit for him. That's a great pick as well. Drew Shelton, iffy on him. Think he might be playing guard. Devin Moore, great size at corner. Love the dart throw there. And LT Overton, believe he's going to be transitioning to D tackle. I think he's closer to 295 now. So put on a little bit more weight. He's great against the run. I think this is a good pick, and this is a good draft, man. I got the Cowboys at a flat A for me, and maybe that's a little bit. I'd go A-. Let's change that to an A-, but I'd go above the Ravens. All right. Oh, Denver Broncos. Not a very consequential draft, to be honest. So it's not going to rank high, but I think they did a good job of getting depth. Like, I like Cage Casey. I think he might fit in at guard more. I like that. He might end up being a starter for you eventually down the road. Might be that Ben Powers replacement. Justin Jolie, I think, is a great pass catcher. He could factor in instantly. Jonah Coleman, I'm not like low on him. I've seen some people are really low on him. I'm not really low on him. I don't know how high his ceiling is. I think he could be a spot starter, better like a great platoon back where he's more of your pounder, your downhill runner, where he's going to get those tough yards. I like that fit for him. I just don't know if he'll be a 20 to 25 carry kind of guy, but I'm willing to be wrong. And then Tyler Onyedem, I hadn't seen much of him, so it was a little high for me. But I think seeing the way he plays, I think he'll be a great fit for their scheme. I think he'll kind of fill that JFM role. So I like the draft, but I'd probably say it's just a flat C, which, to be honest, considering the capital they had, this could have been a lot worse. So I think they did a solid job. Nothing to really complain about too much. Detroit Lions. I love the Blake Miller fit. I mean, clear that this kind of signals you're going to be moving Sewell to the left side, which they said they're willing to do. So I'm not super surprised about it, but I love the fit. I think he can start right away, and he's willing. He's ready to play right now. Derek Moore, little. I wouldn't say a little high for me, but I guess reiterate. I had Zion Young a decent amount ahead of him, and you pass on him for. I think Derek Moore is a good fit for you, though. Good power profile. To line up across from Hutchinson. So I love it, but I would have preferred Zion Young. That's why I'm a little bit lower on that grade. Rolder, I think, is a good run fitter right now, and he's got some sort of athletic palate. So I don't hate that at all. And then Keith Abney's a certified S for steal. I had him as a top 65 player, and he's at 157. This kid can play outside, I think. I don't, it depends on the scheme. Obviously, their scheme's a press man. So I think they should, I'll steal from that franchise guy. I think they should look themselves in the mirror and realize what their defensive scheme really benefits most from, which is going to be more off zone because of the way their offense plays. They're going to score points. They're going to be in football games with their offense. They just need their defense to stop allowing big plays over the top. And you can still have a high upside defense with the zone. You just got to craft it right. And you got to trust your defense coordinators to do that. So that's my opinion, especially with the Abney fit. He's going to play excellent for them. And he's obviously can play in the slot as well. He's a smaller corner, but I just think with an off zone, he's got the chops to play outside, in my opinion. That's why I had him higher. And Skylar Gill-Howard, he got hurt down the stretch, which kind of hurt his draft stock, but I think he's a good player. I think he's an early day 3 kind of guy, so good value for him. The Lions here, I like this draft a lot. I think the only thing that's going to hold it back a little bit, Derek Moore and Kendrick Law. But I say Derek Moore, but I still like the player. I think Zion Young is going to be a stud. So I think you might regret passing on him. We're going to go B+ here though. Green Bay Packers. I think this is actually a really solid draft, truthfully. Brandon Cisse, I think, is well worth that 52nd pick. I would have been a little bit lower if he was a first rounder, but mid-second, I think this is good value. He's got a lot of room to grow, and he'll be a great fit in that Packer system. Chris McClellan at 77. I don't hate it. I think he can play. I would have preferred Big Citrus, but they're not the same type of player. So if you're looking for that McClellan kind of guy, I like the fit there. Denai Dennis Sutton. I think it's solid value at 120. I'm glad he didn't go in that second round or that early third because I would have been a lot lower because I just don't know how ready he would have been for that. But I like the 120 because you can kind of ease him in to a role there. Jaeger Burton, I think, is a solid center. I think he's got some upside to possibly start in the future. Damani Jackson obviously was not great in college. I'm not gonna no sugarcoating it, but 5-star athlete coming in. It's not. I don't hate the dart throw considering he's probably got the highest upside of people left on the board there. I'll say probably though because obviously I don't have the board in front of me. And then obviously their kicker is what cost them the playoff game. I mean, he's a majority reason. I don't think he's the only reason, obviously, but if he just hits those field goals, they win the game. It's really that simple. So I don't hate the throw there. I obviously did not, or I honestly did not study any kicker or punter. I don't know nothing about him. So hopefully he's good for him. I watched a couple Florida games, so I knew their kicker was good, but you can't tell if he's an NFL guy just from that. But sorry, didn't even rank the guys. Green Bay Packers. I'd say with what they did, I'd give them a B-. I think this is a solid draft. I'd rate them above the Bengals. All right. Houston Texans. Keelan Rutledge at 26. I think he's a good scheme fit, but it was a little early for me. I had Pregnon and Bisantis ahead of him, but a good scheme fit, so I'm not going to complain about the pick. Caden McDonald at 36, good value, great run stopper. Best run stopper in the class is just going to free up them dogs on the outside for him. Great pick. Marlon Klein, that's early. I don't know how else to say it. That's early. Sam Roush on the board. Plenty of other tight ends on the board. Max Clare. Not a fan of that. He's got high athletic upside, but he is not produced in how many years at Michigan. So, not a fan. Fabechi and Waiwu, I think, and Wiwu. I, think it's a solid pick. Kamari Ramsey, if you're going to play him over the top, I like the fit, but which I guess he could kind of play similar to, who's the guy they got right now? I'm blanking, but that guy they got over the top. Fuck it. Heck is his name? Kalen Bullock. There we go. Sorry. Play similar to that, maybe. So I like this draft from the Texans. I think the value of McDonald in the second round is just so great that it's gonna probably get him up to that B, flat B there. I think it's a good pick there. Good draft. Can't complain. Indianapolis Colts. I mean, one of my favorite drafts, for sure. Just value wise. I mean, CJ Allen at 53, I had him as a top 25 prospect. That's an A plus, certified S for steal. AJ Halsey, 78, had him as a top 40 to prospect. A plus, certified S for steal. I mean, Jalen Farmer. Some people had him as a top 75. I had him close to top 100, so I love the value here. Bryce Betcher, second time being drafted in a major sport, which doesn't have anything to do with football, but I think this is a solid dart. I think he can play a bit. George Gumbs, good project off the edge. Caden Curry can play right now despite the short arms. I was higher on Seth McGowan than this. I mean, I had him as like a top 6 or 7 running back, so I like the fit. Deion Burks, I know Trevor Sikkema from NFLSC had him as a top 60 player. So, or was it top 75? I think it was top 75. So I wasn't that high, but I certainly was closer to top 100 than this. I mean, good Lord. So great value again. This is a certified A. I mean, this is a great draft for not having a first round pick, getting great value across the board. The only not great value would be George Gumbs, but he's an interesting prospect and an interesting dart throw in the 5th round. I mean, I'm not going to give that like an F. It's probably like a C plus. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So this is a very good draft for the Colts. Jacksonville Jaguars. This might be my lowest grade for sure. The example of a team that ignores consensus board. They got their own board, which I encourage people to have their own board. They shouldn't just follow a consensus board, but that's data. That's simply data, and not using data out of ego is foolish. So this draft is not going to rank super high. Sorry, my fucking throat. Nate Borkircher, looking into him, I think he can play. So I don't think he's not going to be like a good player, but this is high, very high pick on him. Albert Regis, I think, is a solid run defender, so I'm not going to hate on it. A little bit high for me, but I think he'll play. So, and I think he'll play well. So I'm not going to complain about that. 88 for Pregnon, excellent value. That's like an A plus, certified S for steal. Excellent pick, but that's probably their only excellent pick of this draft. Jalen Husky, early for me. You got Zakee Wheatley on the board, Dalen Johnson, I believe, as well. I don't know. Wesley Williams isn't anything special, and the rest of these guys, like I've heard their names. Like Tanner Goseel is okay. I don't know. This is probably going to be my worst draft. This is going to be a straight D. You want to take Borkircher, maybe you think about trading back and because you could have got him late. I don't know. This is just bad process in my opinion. Once again, like I said, an example of a team that doesn't follow consensus at all. And I don't say that to say like, oh, you should follow like a Bible. No, but you should use it as data because that's what it is. Too advanced a league to not be using that. Kansas City Chiefs. Great draft. Mansour Delane, my top cornerback, going at 6. I think he'll start instantly, and he'll be a top 20 corner this year, in my opinion. He's great at man, excellent zone follow. I mean, he's a great player. Peter Woods, I was not super high on him because of his lack of versatility, like meaning like how many different schemes he could play in. But this scheme, attacking front, paired next to Chris Jones, who he can learn from, this is a great fit and a great player for it. So he's gonna shine this year. Armis and Thomas, a DPR purely. I think he's solid. I don't hate it, but had Zion Young on the board, Cassius Howell over him. I had Cassius Howell over him. I don't hate it though. I think what he does is he's an athletic demon off the edge with bend who can get to the quarterback. So I think he's going to produce. So not going to complain about it. Jaden Kennedy, sticky corner. So I like that fit for them. Not going to complain about that pick. Emmett Johnson was my RB3. Excellent value, A plus value for me, certified S for steal, because I think he could probably play with Kenneth Walker. Like, I mean, you're not going to split carries, but like, Ken gets 16, you give Emmett 4 to 5 carries just as a guy, change of pace guy to start. And I think he can develop to be a a great platoon back, possible starter, depending on what system you're running. So I love this pick. Cyrus Allen as well. I think he's going to be a good contributor. I don't think he'll start or anything, but he can be a spot starter, come in on certain packages, and he's just got great hands. So this is a good pick for me. And then Nussmeyer at 249, my quarterback 3 at 249. I will say, like, value wise, certified S for Steele, but like he's, you don't want him playing, to be honest, because you got Mahomes. So you want him as a backup who really only needs to play if you need to. But I think he can be a quality backup, and I think he's better than Justin Fields, in my opinion. So I don't know. This is going to get the Chiefs a straight A, though. This is, or actually, you know what? Yeah, no, A. I think if they took like Cassius Howell at 40, this would be an A plus. But I think I like most of the other fits they got, to be honest. The Raiders. Mendoza's the obvious pick. Uh, I'm not going to ding him for it. Like, it seems like some people are dinging him for it. Like, they're not supposed to make the obvious pick. I think it's a good pick. I think he'll start off rip, obviously, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think I just want to see before I crown him as like a stud. The offense he played in is not conducive to knowing if the kid can play in an NFL offense, but I think that's a little bit overblown now anyways. A lot of offenses are kind of catering towards college guys anyways, so I think he'll play well when he gets in, which we'll see. I don't hate the idea of Kirk Cousins starting for a majority of the season, especially because are you really trying to compete this year? It doesn't hurt to get a good pick again next year and get like maybe a Jeremiah Smith, a Cam Coleman. So I don't know, but obviously if you want to play Mendoza, I don't hate that either. Trading Stukes, I think this is a good player. I think it's a little bit high for me. I had him around 50 to 60. He's going to be mostly a nickel. I know I've seen Raiders fans all over saying he's going to play over the top. Didn't do it a lot, so we'll have to see. I would have much rather Denzel Boston here. So, you know, I don't want to hate on the pick because I do actually think Traden Stukes is going to be a good player. So I don't want to say like, oh, bad pick, and then he comes out and plays well. But I think Denzel Boston's going to be a great receiver in this league. I don't think he'll be like a top guy, but I think he'll be especially in the Raiders offense. I think he could be a good number 2 for you behind Bowers and I mean Genty's obviously the running back, but he'll probably get more catches or something out of the backfield. But I would have liked Denzel Boston is all I'm trying to get at. Kieran Crawford at 67. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's a solid pick. Trey Zuna 91. Think it's good value, but I would have preferred a Sam Hecht personally. But I do think Trey Zuna's a good player, so I'm not going to hate on that. He'll be an interior guy for him. Jeremiah McCoy at 101. A plus, certified S for Steele. One of the best picks in the draft. But it all hinges on him getting healthy. Really is that simple. If he can't get healthy, it ain't gonna work. But that's why you waited till 101 to do it. If it doesn't work, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like you took him at 38 or something. Got good value on it. So it's one of the best picks in the draft, in my opinion. Mike Washington Jr. at 122. I don't hate this because I saw a lot of people pre-draft saying top 75, like pick, not top 75 product, like top 75 pick. Can't get behind that. A little too stiff for me. He's fast, but he just does not shift in and out of cuts well enough for me. Doesn't have horrible vision though. So I think he's got good upside, especially with the athletic profile he has. So I like it at 122. Dalton Johnson at 150. Like the pick there. I think he'll be more of the overtop guy or strong safety. He'll be more of the safety type than Stukes. So I like that pick. And then Hezekiah Mass at 175. I think he's got good traits. So I like the pick. I think for me, the Raiders are, I think it's a good draft. Probably a B plus for me. I'd probably put them. Yeah, I'd probably put them top of B plus. Charges. Love the Akeem Mesidor pick personally. I know he's older, but this is a team that's trying to compete right now. So I think he can be that third guy, sub him in seamlessly on DPR. He can defend against the run. He's an all-around good edge rusher. Love the pick. Jake Slaughter at 63. A little early for me, but Obviously, they love the guy. He's going to be playing more like guard, I think, because they just signed Biotish or traded for him, I think. So, little early for me, but I don't hate it. I would have taken Pregnon for a guard though. So that's going to be like a C plus for me. Brendan Thompson at 105. I think that's a good pick for them. I mean, somebody that Justin Herbert can just uncork it to. I love the fit. So that's a great pick. Travis Burke, big boy on the offensive line, big offensive tackle. I think he'll be a good, nice little backup for Rashid Walker and Joe Alt. So I like it. Genesis Smith. Think it's he can't really tackle for crap. So if you can get him in a Kalen Bullock role where he doesn't need to tackle, I think he's a good player because he's got great instincts over the top. He's great in coverage. It's just tackling is the problem. So get him in a system where he doesn't have to tackle as much. It's not as important for him to make tackles, which is obviously hard. He's a safety. So it's difficult. But if you can do that, I think he can give you great value. Otherwise, I don't, we'll see. That's why you picked him at 131. Doesn't matter as much. And then getting a couple guards and a D tackle. I like the process there. Just getting some beef on both sides. I like it. Chargers draft for me is a solid B. I think this is a good process for them. And I think if they needed an edge, it'd be a little higher because they don't necessarily need an edge, but I mean, they don't need one this year is what I should be saying. They need an edge probably coming up because Mac's older and you need someone to pair with Tuli Tuipulotu. So I like it. Believe next is going to be the Rams, and this is going to be another one of those lowers for me. I understand the Packers thinking where, when you don't need a quarterback, you take one so they can sit and just develop for as long as possible. But I don't know. If I was making content when the Packers did that with Jordan Love, I would have slammed them just like I'm going to slam the Rams here. You are in a Super Bowl window. You were within one score of making the Super Bowl in a game where the team that you barely lost to destroyed the Patriots. You likely would have won that game. And you're picking a quarterback who, dude, do you want Stafford to retire in a year or two? You're hoping to God that he decides to play for a little bit longer because he certainly looked like he can play a couple more years at least with the way he played this year. And you're just wasting the pick. You got Mekhi Lemon there. You got Kenyon Sadiq. I mean, how many offensive players do you want me to name that you could have taken over Ty Simpson or defensive players? Ruben Bain with that D line. I think the process here is piss poor. I mean, I understand in a couple of years, if he ends up being a starter, you're going to look back and be thankful you did it. But then you're going to realize, oh shit, we pissed away our Super Bowl window. Never mind. Not happy about this. Don't love it at all. It's an F for me, the Simpson pick. And I actually, well, it's not going to be an F. It's a D because I think Simpson actually has a very good chance to develop into a starter. But the process here is just poor. You're a great team with a top 15 pick, and you're just, I don't like it at all. I think Max Clare is a good player, but you have, I think he's going to be tight end 5. Like, once again, not great process. Keegan Trost doesn't fit your system. He's more an athlete than he is a power guy, and that's what you run is power. Personally, I like CJ Daniels, so I don't know how much he'll play, but I think he could maybe make the roster. And then Tim Keenan, I love as a run stopper, so that's the only thing that's going to keep this from being a straight up F class. This is going to be a D as well. This is also going to be a D. I mean, it's bad. I still think the Jaguars had the worst class, so I'll keep them above the Jags, but second worst class for sure. I did not like this. Not at all. Miami Dolphins. I mean, this is a good class, but a bit of a roller coaster here. Caden Proctor at 12. Personally, I think he's going to be a better guard because he's got problems with his feet, but, I think it's a little early, but I think he's got good upside, so I don't, I'm not going to give it like a D or a F or anything, but probably C plus, B minus for that pick. I think there was other options. Chris Johnson at 27. If you're going to be running that Packer style off zone that Jeff Hafley was running, you're bringing him in. I know he has said previously that he would want to run press man, but you don't draft Chris Johnson if you're going to run press man. So I think that signifies what they're going to be doing. And Chris Johnson's a great fit in that. So the only question was for him was competition level because he looked great at everything else. So he could be an excellent corner for him. Jacob Rodriguez at 43, great value. Had him as a top 25 prospect. think he'll start right off rip and be punching out footballs, catching picks, making plays. Caleb Douglas for me, extremely early. Don't love the pick at all. That's I would literally swap him and Bell and then Coleman and him. So he's the 177th pick, and then I'd have Coleman at 94. And I personally would have been okay with that. It would have been a little early for everyone else, but I personally would have been okay with that. But then Will Kazmarek, I think he's a great wide tight end. I think he'll play well off rip. Chris Bell coming off that ACL, we'll have to see, but I think he's got good chops. I love the pick at 94. Kyle Lewis at 138. I don't know much about Trey Moore, my bad. Kyle Lewis at 138. Great off-ball linebacker. If you play him more in like a nickel hybrid, more of an overhang kind of guy, he's a stud. One of the best pass coverage linebackers I've ever seen. Michael Taff at 158. I think that's good value because he could possibly start for you at some point. I think he's got a good nose for the football, good football IQ. Kevin Coleman Jr., underrated hands, one of the most underrated receivers in the class. Gets open, which is just a trait that you can't teach. And he catches contested balls. Like, he shouldn't for his size, but he does. He's got a great rate at it. So I think he's a good player. And then finally, Max Llewellyn, 7th rounder, DPR, good dart throw. I think he's got upside to rush the passer at a high level. I don't know if he'll ever be like a starter, 3-down kind of guy, but I think it's a good dart throw for a pass rusher. So for me, I'd probably put the Dolphins in at an A-, just because, the roller coaster nature, but they made some excellent picks this year. So I'm not going to complain at all about it. Minnesota Vikings. Caleb Banks, a little early for me. With the foot problems. I know I think his agent sent out a letter that he'll be ready for training camp, but he's a big boy to have foot problems, and that's scary. So that's like a C-rated pick for me around Jay Golday. I had him right around this range. So this is a good value, good fit for the Brian Flores defense. So I like it a lot. Dominique Orange, big citrus, excellent fit as well. I think if Banks is able to stay healthy, that combination, good luck running the football. Caleb Tiernan, think he might fit well at IOL, but I think they drafted him to be that Darisaw backup and the Brian O'Neill backup. So he's going to be playing tackle for him. Jacoby Thomas, I think, is okay. I had other safeties rated higher than him, so I don't love the pick, but if they like him, they like him, Love that. Love getting a fullback in the 5th round, bringing back some old school football. I love it. Damon Claiborne as its own runner as well. That's more what they run outside zone, so I think he can fit well there, catching the football as well. So I think it's an okay class. I think it's probably a C+, and that seems very low. Oh, it is low. I'm just going to ding him because, you probably should have been thinking about maybe a receiver, considering are we sure Addison's going to stay? I know they picked the 5th-year option, but that doesn't mean you're going to sign him to a contract extension. Naylor left. There were other options on the board that I would have preferred, but and that's what's going to drop them. And then doubling up on D tackle day 1 and day 2, and you still this team is not complete. I don't know. Yeah. C+ is probably low though, so we'll go B- because I do like the Golday and big citrus pick. Shit. I got to move off. I'm going to stick on it for forever. New England Patriots. Caleb Lomu. I think it's a good fit because he won't have to play this year most likely. He'll likely sit out, maybe a year, maybe 2. Either learn right tackle or we'll probably learn right tackle because they'll probably replace Morgan Moses. Or if they got a plan, draft another tackle, have Campbell move into guard. I mean, that's a solid option as well. I like the Caleb Lomu pick is what I'm trying to get at. I think it's a solid pick. Gabe Akis at 55. I think it's great value. I think I had him as a top 40 guy. So 55, I think that's a great pick. And he'll rush the passer well. He'll defend against the run well. He's a good, solid all-around edge. Eli Raritan had him right around this range. I think he's a good, solid tight end who I believe was getting underrated, but clearly I'm wrong. So I think it's a good pick. Demetrius Crownover, I think, is a good dart throw because he's got good traits. I don't. It's a 7th rounder, so I'm not going to slam him for it too much. But Baron Morton getting drafted is certainly something. And then Jam Miller, I think he's got something, but I don't even know if he'll make the roster. We'll see. I think this is a good, solid draft, though. I think it's just a good quality B. I'd say. I'll rearrange it at the end. Nolans, one of the best classes, in my opinion, for sure. Jordan Tyson's the best receiver in the class for me by a good, not by a good portion, but the injury concerns really hold him back. So if he could stay healthy, this is going to be an excellent, excellent pick for them. Kristen Miller, I think was probably the best D tackle in the class, and to get him at 42, I think is just great value. And he's going to start and play for you right away and play well. Oscar Delp always was kind of a traits guy. People expected him to play a lot better than he did. We'll have to see how he plays in an NFL offense. Always hard to bet on someone producing more, but we'll have to see. I mean, he obviously was in a Georgia offense that did not have a great quarterback, so I'm intrigued by it. I think Bryce Lance at 136 is great value because I saw he was maybe going second or third round in a lot of mocks, and that's just high for me. But 136, I think it's a good dart throw for a guy who's got a good athletic profile and can get deep downfield. So I love this draft. I think this is an A+ for me. Um, there wasn't really a miss, and that's really what. I mean, Jeremiah Wright as well. I didn't even talk about him. I think he's a good mauler at guard. I think this is a good draft, one of the best drafts in the class, in my opinion. Giants. My fault, Joe. My throat's been fucking bothering me. I finally think I got rid of it. Arvell Reese at 5. I think the player, who he is, the value at 5 is excellent. I think for me, I'm just not as high as other people. I think people are giving this an A+, like one of the best draft picks. I'm not there with it. Personally, I would have taken Mansour Lane, Jordan Tyson, Caleb Downs. I would have taken other people at 5. And there's nothing wrong with Arvell Reese, the prospect. It's the fit. He wants to play true edge. He bulked up for true edge. That's what he wants to do. And he's the 4th guy right now. Yeah, they are probably going to trade Kayvon Thibodeau right when they can. And Brian Burns or Abdul Carter could be out of there. And Arvell Reese could be that starter soon. But right now, you're going to play him at outside linebacker or off-ball linebacker. And I think he can be good there. I honestly think he's a better off-ball linebacker right now than he is edge. But Sonny Styles, if that's what you're looking for, you get Sonny Styles there. I think Sonny Styles is a good amount better than Arvell Reese, in my opinion, at everything that it comes with linebacker. I think Arvell Reese is fast as fuck and has a great nose for the football, but he's just sounds like I'm lower on him. I'm not, but he needs work mostly at edge, really, because he said it himself. He had no plan. He just was out there winging it. That's not going to work in the NFL. It certainly worked though at Ohio State. So and that off ball, like I just think Sonny Styles is a great player. So I think for me, it's like a B- because I think Arvell Reese is a great player too. Because all that sounded like that whole spiel I just went on. It sounded like I'm hating on Arvell Reese. I don't. I think this is going to work. So it's a B for me. But I just think they could have knocked this out of the park and been one of the best drafts in the class, in my opinion. Because Maui Noah at 10, great pick. Probably going to start at guard. Can flex out the tackle easily. He could play. He himself said it. There's 5 positions on the offensive line. I'm taking one of them. So he's going to start and he's going to play excellent off rip. He's got the highest floor in this draft, in my opinion, bar none. Colton Hood at 37. Think he's got good upside or a good floor because he can play press man off rip. His problem is a little bit with zone. So, but I know a lot of coaches will say, give me a guy who can play man to man. I can teach him to play zone. So that's probably what they're thinking. And I think he's got great traits. He could have been a first round pick for me. So this is a good pick. Malachi Fields at 74. Good big body receiver, can stretch the field a little bit despite not excellent speed. I think this is a good pick for what they need, really. I would say I'd take Skylar Bell over him, but I don't know if he'd really fit what they need. So I think this is a solid pick. JC Davis at 192, good value. I think he could have been picked a lot higher. For me, this Giants class is still probably an A. And I know the start of it sounded like I was just hating on it because of the Arvell Reese pick. I just think it could have been an S. That's all I was trying to get at. But This is still absolutely one of the best classes. I'll reorder it at the end. I got to remind myself. Otherwise, I'll spend a long time doing it. Jets, another one of the best classes. Probably my second or third best class, in my opinion. I'm a little higher on David Bailey than some. Not obviously in the NFL. I would not have taken him at 2, but I would have probably taken him at 4 or 7. So not like, I mean, some people have him at like 19 or whatever. I think that's where Trevor Sikkema had him from NFL Stock Exchange. I'm not that low on him. I think he's still his floor as a pass rusher is great enough where he's worth the top 10 pick, especially for an edge needy team right now. I think this is a B plus. I would have taken Arvell Reese personally. And I know I said previously he had no plan, but he has such a great upside at edge rusher that it's worth the pick. And you just need to teach him a move or two, really. So I would have taken Arvell Reese, and he's got that flexibility to play, drop into coverage as well. But David Bailey, I think, is going to rush the passer at an excellent clip off rip. He's got a first step you can't teach. So I lean towards that a lot because, as long as you can get around that corner, he doesn't have excellent bend, which scares me a bit, but he can corner. So I think it's a good pick. I think it's a B plus. Kenyon Sadiq at 16. I think he's going to be more of that F tight end, that move tight end, because Mason Taylor will probably play more Y. So Sadiq will play, all over the field. He'll be moving. I think he'll be a great pick because of his athletic upside. Just needs to, get a little better at catching the football, but that's going to come. And I think he's got a good aptitude for it. Omar Cooper Jr. at 30 is a just good value. Top, I think number 15 on my big board. Does everything well, gets open, good after the catch, great hands, can get off press at a solid clip. Didn't play too much X, though. I mean, you're not going to ask him to do it, so not going to have to worry about that as much. I think it's a great pick. I think it's a solid A. D'Angelo Pon's at 50. I think he's going to play instantly well at slot. His size almost prohibits him from the outside, but I don't hate him on the outside in more of an off zone, so it won't matter as much about his size. But he's a dog, and he's a great football player, and it's great value. It's an A pick for me. Dale Jackson Jr. at 103. Great value again. Saw some people had him in their top 75. Big boy at D tackle is going to plug up the name or the lanes. Cade Klubnik at 110. Not my favorite, but I mean, 4th round quarterback. Not going to shit on it. VJ Payne at 228. Think he almost profiles better as a corner, but he'll probably play more safety. But his athletic upside is astounding, and he's got a good nose for the football as well. In the 7th round, I think this is an A plus class. I don't think there's really too much arguing about it. I don't, I know some people don't love the Sadiq pick, but I don't know. Considering they got Omar Cooper Jr., I love it. If they didn't, I would have been confused. But I love it. This is a great class. Next up, Philly. Eagles. Traded up for Mekhi Lemon. Was a top 10 player for me in the class, arguably. So I love this pick. I think this is an A pick, and he's going to fit in excellently across from Devontae Smith. Only question, will Jalen Hurts throw the football across the middle to him? We will have to see. I'm not going to predict that he will, but I'm not going to say that he for sure won't. We'll have to see. Eli Stowers at 54. Great athlete. Going to be more of that move guy because he can't really block much against D linemen, but he's actually a pretty solid blocker against second-level guys. So I think he's a good fit for him, and he's got a great pass-catching upside. So this is a good pick. Markel Bell, a little high at 68, but this is the type of tackle they like. Hulking, big boy, can pass protect. I think it's a good pick for them. And then the rest of their class is solid. Cole Wisniewski could actually probably start for them kind of early because he's got a good high football IQ. So I don't hate that. And then Cole Payton, we'll have to see what they're thinking with him. Maybe he'll be more of a, they run a Hurts Payton backfield. I don't know what they're thinking, but we'll see. Underrated touch for him as well. I think this is a solid class for them. I'd probably go B plus for him. Probably go B plus for him. Pittsburgh Steelers. Rough that they were calling Lemon, and they didn't end up getting him because the Eagles traded up, so they really do look like idiots. But I like Iannachor. He's in a good spot, too, where he doesn't have to play this year. It'll be more Broderick Jones and for Fatanu. So Troy Fatanu. So I like it. Think it's a good fit for him, and I think he'll develop into a stud offensive tackle, considering he's only been playing football since 2021. So Jeremy Bernard at 47, I think is a good fit as well. He'll complement Metcalf and Pittman so well with the craft of his route running ability to get open, and he's got excellent hands. So I think it's a good fit. Drew Allard 76. I think it's early, but I guess I understand why they did it. The upside there is there, but I don't know. I think he's almost closer to Hackenberg in my opinion because he's really never played excellent in college. He played solid in 2024 when they made that playoff, and I think they won a couple, either a game or two, but he was never excellent. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not going to hate on the kid though. I think he's got like I said, I think he's got a good upside. He's got a good arm. So I think it's just early for me. Dalen Everett, 85, good cover corner, sticky in coverage. So I like it. Decent size as well. Jennings Dunker at 96, going to be playing guard. Mauler, beast in the run game. I like the pick. Probably will start early. Caden Wetjen's going to be a special teams specialist, like a returner. So a little early for me, but I think he's going to be a stud. So might not end up being early if he takes the league by storm, which he has every capability to do so. And then Eli Heidenreich at 230. I think he's got good versatility at running back. Could possibly play early too because he can catch the ball. So we'll have to see. I think this is a solid Steelers draft class. Going to the most popular one, it's going to be a B for me. Ooh, it's going to be B minus. Hold on, I just remembered they took Aller with the third. They might end up falling to a C plus when I readjust because that is, Niners. Yeah, this is going to be one of our lower rated classes as well. DeJean Stribling at 33. I thought I was higher, and I had him in like the 70s, 80s. He's a good run blocker. He gets open a little bit. It's kind of, he's fast. I don't know. Early for me. Not going to be crazy. This is another team that clearly in the past as well, they do not follow. Sorry. They do not follow consensus board at all. They got their own board, and that's that. Romello Height, DPR. I think it's solid at 70, but, I don't love it, but we'll see. I think he could play early for him. Kalen Black at 90, definitely early, but I think, to be honest, with the system, the way the Niners use running backs, and he didn't get a lot of wear and tear in college, I think he'll end up kind of making this worth it, despite it being a pretty bad reach. I do think he'll make this worth it, to be honest. So I'm not going to grade it. I'll still grade it bad for a reach, but I actually do think he'll make it worth it. Grayson Halton at 107, solid value. Gap shooting, D tackle, pass rusher. I think it's solid there. Carver Willis at 127. Don't hate it. Saw people like Marcus Whitman had him ridiculously high. I say ridiculously high, like I grinded the tape. I watched a game or two of his, so I'm not going to act like I know him inside and out, but I think 127 is at least solid value. And then Ephesians Prysock, I think he's a good corner. I think a lot of people thought he was better than Takario Davis. So to get him after, I think it's good value. So day 3 wasn't terrible for them, but day 1 and 2 is not great. This is going to be a D plus for me, and it really just comes down to you could have traded. You could have damn near got Stribling at 70. You could have just kept trading back. I don't love the process. That's where the low grade comes from. I don't love the process. Just didn't think it was excellent. Seattle Seahawks. Jadarian Price at 32. Think he'll be a good fit for him. A little early for me, but to be honest with you, I think he's going to play well for him. So he didn't get much of wear and tear at all in college, so they could feed him the football with Charbonnet out. I think this is going to be a good fit for him as a football player as well. So I think he'll play well off rip. I think it's probably B minus because a little early on a lot of people's boards, including my own, but I don't hate the process. Bud Clark at 64, that Kobe Bryant replacement. I think this is great value. I think he's going to play well off rip. I love the pick. Julian Neal, tall. I think he's a tall corner. Am I blanking? Yeah, long corner. Seattle type. I don't think it's a bad pick at all. Bo Stevens at 148, not terrible. I think this is a decent class. I think they're going to get knocked for not addressing. They didn't draft an edge rusher. I know they don't technically need one off rip, but Boye Mafe going. I don't know. I don't hate the class, so it's not going to get like a D or a low C, but I think this is a C plus for me. They didn't quite hit they didn't quite hit all their needs, but I think it's okay. One of the better drafts, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ruben Payne Jr. at 15 is ridiculous. Certified S for steal, top 3 player in my class. Our top 3 player on my board. It doesn't get better than that. I mean, as a Panthers fan, I'm terrified. I don't even. Yeah, I mean that's really all I could say. But I'll just say as well, his portfolio as a pass rusher is just so complete, and he can defend against the run with the best of them. I mean, this is just such a great pick. Josiah Trotter for me was early, but hearing some people break down the fit that he's going to have in the defense, I don't hate it, to be honest. It'll get still a little bit of a lower grade because I think CJ Allen was considerably better prospect, and just passing on him was questionable in my eyes. But I think the fit's going to raise it from like me kind of slamming it. So I'm just going to say I think it's going to be a good fit. Ted Hurst. Don't love the guy like other people did, but I think his fit in the offense is kind of unquestioned. He's going to be that X, maybe not start, but like when they need that guy to be that X receiver, he's going to be that guy because he's the only one on the team that can do it. So I think it's good to fit that need that they needed. Keontae Scott at 116 is ridiculous value. Ridiculous value. Going to be one of the better slot corners off rip, especially the best slot corner against defending the run, in my opinion, off rip. He's excellent at it. Billy Shrout, if he can just stay off the injury report, he's going to be a starter. But hard to just assume that he will. Very hard to assume that. So I like the pick though at 160. So this draft class is excellent. It's going to be an A for me, flat out A. I think it's good. Last two, Tennessee Titans. Carnell Tate off rip. I know some people weren't as high on Tate as I was, but I mean, I don't think he's like a top 5 prospect, but I think what I mean is I was so high on Tate to Tennessee. I think the fit here is seamless. It's poetry in motion. Cam Ward and Carnell Tate. He's going to be able to unleash that howitzer, get him. Carnell Tate's got excellent ball skills. This is going to be fun. So I think this is a great pick. I know some people think like, oh, Tate at 4. I just think the pick and the fit. I won't give it an A plus, obviously, because I think maybe could have traded back a pick or two for him, but we'll see. I like it. Keldrick Falk at 31. I'm better with this than like if he was a top 20 pick, I would have been a little bit more questioning of it. But at 31, I think it's solid because he's got, he doesn't have much in the pass rush game, but he's got the tools to develop, and he's a younger guy. I think he's just going to be 21 when the season starts. So I don't mind it. 60 for Anthony Hill. I think this is a little more appropriate than some people saying top of the second. I think the problem with him is he's a little bit like he plays like he avoids contact, and I don't love that as much. But if you can drill that into him to just be a little bit more accepting of it, then he's got the athletic profile to be a stud. So that's really the only thing holding him up. I think Fernando Carmona is a good scheme fit for him at guard. Nick Singleton, 165. I don't hate the value considering the athlete he is. And if he can get closer to 120 or that 2024 Nick Singleton with the vision, like he had none this year, at least he had something that year, I think he can be actually a solid back. And then Pat Coogan at center, good value at 194, can be a spot starter for you. So I think this is a good draft for the Titans. I think it's going to be a solid B or a B minus for me. Probably B minus because I was higher on Tate, but if I'm going to be fair, I know a lot of people probably don't love that pick, but I love it. Even with Reese there, I'd take Tate, truthfully. Not like he's better, just for the fit. The Titans don't have anybody like this. And they don't have great edge rushers, but they have edge rushers, Anyways, Washington Commanders, Sonny Styles. Good pick at number 7. It's going to start right away at Mike next to Luvu and Leo Chenal. That's linebacking core is going to be excellent. Defense is going to look a lot better. I think he just offered just from Sonny Styles. Antonio Williams at 71, a little high for me, but I think he'll contribute off rip. He's got experience producing at Clemson, so I think he knows how to get open, knows how to hands catch and produce. So I think it's going to be a solid pick. Joshua Joseph's fallen all the way to 147 is great value. He's got good high ceiling as a pass rusher. So at 147, great value. Katron Allen was a top 6 back for me, and get him at 187. Great value again. I mean, this guy, Fat Man, is as steady as they come, and gonna get carries off rip in my opinion. So Matt Goldman at 209 as well. He could be a spot starter for me. So I think this is a solid draft class, to be honest, considering they didn't have a second or fourth. So I'd probably put him in at either I'll go B minus there. We'll go Titans there. All right, I'm gonna kind of free flow while I readjust this, and then we'll call it after this. I think the Browns are probably my top. Probably go Jets over Saints. I got the Jets as my second best class. Then the Saints. We'll do top 3 here. Ooh. Yeah, I'd probably go Colts. Oh, I'd probably go Colts bottom at A just because they didn't have a first rounder, so I'm only being fair. Yeah, I could see this. You got the Giants as my 5th best class, Bucks 6th. I love the Cowboys class. I mean, what can I say? Ravens, Dolphins. I think I'm a little lower on the Raiders than other people, but I know Jason's ball talk from Six Pack Sports Talk would start yelling at me probably right now, but as you can see, I don't hate it. I think it's just outside the top 10. I think it's the 11th best class. Panthers, Lions, Eagles, yeah. Falcons, Bills, Bears, Texans. I'd do the Chargers over the Texans. Yeah, I'd do the Texans. You know what? Let's review it and see if I'm okay with a C plus real quick. Because the C plus still ain't bad, but yeah, Klein. I don't really love any of their second round. I think Aiden Fisher could be a good special teamer, or I meant day 3s, not second rounders. Don't really love their day 3s. And Marlon Klein, I think, is just gonna end up being a waste of a pick in my opinion, but we'll see. Caden McDonald's really, yeah. This is C plus in my opinion because these 2 are good. Top 2 are good, but I think the rest of their picks are questionable in my opinion. But we'll see. Could be very wrong. Yeah, Titans there, Packers, Bengals, Vikings, Steelers, Commies. Probably go Commies top of it. Put the Vikings down here, and I'd put top of C plus. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I like this a lot. All right. I think that'll call BDT Athletics draft grade special. Was excited to do this. It's almost like I didn't get enough of it. I talked for over 3 hours on the other one, but I had to keep going. Just no football for a while, so got to get it out. Super excited for the season coming up. We're going to be doing positional rankings coming up, probably just like quarterback, running back, receiver. I don't know if we're going to like rank tackles, but I'll probably do a little bit of summer scouting as well on this channel. Six Pack Sports Talk's going to be booming, though. We got baseball, we got basketball, we got the playoffs right now, we got hockey playoffs as well. We got to get Jason on that because he's our hockey fan. I don't know much about it, so I can always present to him. But I think it's a good bit of fun. I encourage friendly debate. I'm willing to stand on what I think. So, as long as you're not being a dick, I'll respond. So that's really all it comes down to. I think honestly, overall, there weren't as many bad classes. It's kind of why I was trying to find worse classes almost, but I think a lot of teams did a quality job. It's just I had to be a little bit harsher because I'm like, I can't have everyone at hay. I think it was just a quality job for not as good of a draft class. So can't complain. But it's been your boy, BDT Athletics, saying peace out, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'm going to be on TikTok with the pick review later. Can maybe doing the picks today as well. So peace out, y'all.